Hey guys, Clint here, Horn and Fiber. I'm getting ready to start carving a new powder horn this morning, and I want to talk about layout and the golden ratio. Let's get started. I want to start by saying that there are no hard fast rules when it comes to carving a powder horn. Sometimes we have a horn that has a lot of white space on it, and maybe we want to maximize that white space for a scrimshaw scene. So we wind up carving a very short throat and tip. Other times we might have a horn that just lends itself to having a short little body and a very exaggerated tip. I've seen historic examples of both. They were cool powder horns, they were very interesting to look at, they function just fine. So why do I mention the golden ratio?
The idea of the golden ratio is that in nature, we see this natural proportion between elements. We see it in pine cones, we see it in the unfurling of fiddlehead ferns, we see it in seashells, we see it in the architecture of trees. It's pleasing to the human eye.
So how does this apply to the architecture of a powder horn? Primarily, there are three ways. We can talk about the length of the body compared to the length of the throat, and we can also talk about the length of the spout compared to the throat. The same concept can be applied to a plain powder horn in determining just the length of the spout in relation to the rest of the horn. One important note is that the horns I'm working with today, I've already cut the spouts off and drilled the spout holes and trimmed the horns to length. This gives me a pretty close measurement on the finished length of the horn, which is important. If you need help with any of these steps, we have a couple of other videos on those things, so please check those videos out as well. So I'm going to start by getting an overall measurement of the length of the horn along the outside curve. In this case, 12.5 inches.
Without getting too far into the mathematical theory, the basic formula is this: total length of the horn times 0.618 equals the length of the horn body. In my example, add 12.5 inches times 0.618 equals 7.725. That's going to give me a body length of approximately 7 3/4 inches. So using that information, I'm going to measure again along the outside curve of the horn, 7 3/4 inches, and make a mark. So using that mark as a reference, I'll draw a line all the way around the horn, staying as perpendicular to the horn body as I possibly can.
So that mark establishes where the horn body ends and the throat and spout begins. Now, we're going to repeat the process for the throat to get the length of our spout. You know, I did our first measurement in inches, but you can do this in any unit you want to. So we'll do the throat in centimeters, just for fun. So again, we're going to measure from the tip down to the line that we just made and get an overall measurement. In this case, 12 centimeters.
So we take that measurement, 12 centimeters times 0.618 gives us 7.4 centimeters. Again, staying on the outside curve, we're going to come from our throat and measure 7.4 centimeters and make a mark. And using that mark as a reference, we're going to draw a line all the way around the horn, staying perpendicular to the cross section of the horn.
All right, so with those two marks in place, we know where our throat's going to begin. This is where our step down shoulder will be. If we're going to do some engrailing, it'll happen here. And then where the tip is going to begin. I usually either make this the back of the raised rings or sometimes the center, depending on how long of a tip I actually want on the horn. This should give us a horn that's fairly pleasing to the eye, that's well balanced between the body and the tip. If you happen to be carving a horn that doesn't have a step down throat, a lot of times I still apply the exact same technique, but I just don't bother to carve in the step throat. Once that mark is made, I just use that measurement to get the length of my tip. With our layout complete, it's time to get busy with some files and rasps, but that'll be for another video. I hope you found something in this video that was useful to you. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel to see more videos. If you have comments or questions, please leave them down below. We'd love to hear them. As always, keep the fire burning. All right, done. We're done. That was fun, huh? Yeah. Come on. Come on. Yeah, all finished up. Who's ready for lunch? Who's ready for lunch?